welcome to the latest podcast for Golf Links. If you haven't already joined Golf Links, the social network for golf, please make sure you head over to our website, see it across our socials. It's free. Think of Facebook, but specifically for golf. Get in there. Loads of good stuff going on. So the latest podcast, I'm joined by another guest. Jono's joining me. Jono, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you, Stuart. Pleasure to be here, my friend.
Only the fourth guest we've had on the podcast, so it's almost like if you're in the top 10, you're in like an important level in Golf Links, I think. Do you feel that important?
Well, I mean, yes. However, to be behind Duncan Bagshaw in anything is a bit of a. I feel a bit like a wounded animal. So, but you know, we'll breeze past that for now.
Excellent. So we've just been having a catch up before we jumped on that there's so many people in the Golf Links community that have been there since the start. I'm recording this. We're like literally a year old this month, recording it. So you've pretty much been in from the start, haven't you? So just there's a lot of people know who you are from being at the Golf Links events and being in the community and doing lots of Golf Links rounds, and we'll sort of dig into that. But just for the people that don't know who you are, just give us a quick introduction. Who are you?
Wow, flipping out. Jono Gordon. Golf lover, cricket lover. No longer play cricket, unfortunately, because my body can't keep up with it, and I have a 3-year-old. Golf's very much the sporting focus at the minute outside of business. So in the couple of years that we've known each other, I've heard a lot about this Golf Links journey even before it came to fruition, and now to see what it's turned into, it's been really pleasing, and I'm really pleased and proud of you and Craig for what you're achieving.
Yeah, fantastic. You just made me reflect, actually. We actually met at an event down in London, didn't we?
No, was it London?
Was it London or was it Manchester? Yeah, or maybe it was Manchester.
Thomas Bjorn event, wasn't it?
Yes, that was it. Golf related.
There you go. Yeah.
And we didn't even have the idea of Golf Links then.
Did you know? No, because you were at IOD, weren't you? Yes. I remember that. And we were at the same table. And we just got on famously from the first minute, and then maybe we're both just really good networkers. I don't know, but and the friendship has blossomed from there, and here we are, maybe a couple of years later, because it was just before, I think, the Rome Ryder Cup.
Yes, it was.
So 2.5 years near enough we've known each other. It's flown fantastic.
By. So bringing Golf Links into the sort of focus, like, tell us your Golf Links story then. I know you've been aware of it and you've seen it and you were part of it from the early on, but what is your Golf Links story? We're going to ask all our guests because they've been in the Golf Links ecosystem. What has it been like for you? It's been obviously a bit of a roller coaster for us, but you've been on that with us. So what's your Golf Links story?
I think, look, to watch it grow from this kind of seedling idea, I guess, and it obviously all then first started with the community based around the WhatsApp group, which is great, and I would absolutely encourage everybody to really engage in that as much as you can. There are always rounds being offered. It was funny. I got in the car after the event I was at last night and saw that there were a couple of tee times available somewhere in Leicestershire today, and I was thinking, is there any way, having been away at a conference for 3 days, I can get away with this with management inside? But I didn't even approach the subject, to be honest, as much as I'd love to. But the whole community feel and aspect that you guys have managed to curate is the proof's in the pudding, and the fact that there are so many people talking, so many messages in there on a daily basis, people willing to help each other either through business or the opportunity to go and play at different courses, and people going to places like Turkey or the Caribbean or Portugal. Has anybody played here? What do you think? Contact sharing. It's a brilliant kind of almost marketplace for networking for golfers. It's fantastic. So obviously you and I met almost probably 2.5 years ago. I've tracked it. I've only been to a couple of events to this point. Obviously living in Nottingham, to get to Carden Parks can be a bit of a schlep, but I've already committed to April to event number 2 of 2026. So just looking forward to getting to know more people in a kind of deeper way, strengthening those connections that obviously Golf Links provides so brilliantly, and then and seeing what we can do to help people and vice versa.
I'm going to ask you about some of the rounds that you've had and some of the people you've met, But it would be amiss of me not to jump on that 21st of April and promote that. So we've got our next round at Carden Park on the 21st of April. And I've just put a video in the group actually regards to how special that one's going to be. So we've got the On Course Foundation. With me being a veteran, we support the On Course Foundation, which is a using golf as a medium to bring people through recovery, and then a pathway into employment. And then we've got the head of the UK Invictus Team UK for next year's Invictus game coming. So those two talks themselves is going to be a fantastic opportunity to be in the room. So you're going to be able to experience that. So tell us a little bit about the people you've met and the rounds that you've had.
So, well, the Carden, when I came to Carden Park last year, I remember it was a bit windy, but I mean, what a place! I played with and obviously now his name escapes me. Duncan's mate. I'm not going to say the wrong name. But he plays at Luffenham Heath. And just to watch his golf swing was unbelievable. He's one of these. I think he probably played 3 under or something like that, and didn't even win. Like this, but his golf swing really is a thing of beauty. But it was myself, him, Rex, and I can't remember the 4th gentleman that we had with us. But it just great people, great to be around. I played pretty well, which is always nice. I think any golfer. There was something about this in the group actually. A fella put on this morning about. I think they played at West Lancs yesterday. His mate had an unbelievable round and can't wait to go back. Whereas the poor fella's played okay, but he doesn't. That course doesn't have quite the same amount of shine for him because he didn't have that unbelievable round.
Yeah.
But I loved Carden Park because I had a really good day personally on the course, right? So if you go somewhere and play poorly, you're probably not so keen to go back as quickly. But I can't wait. I think the venue and the level of support and partnership that they're offering you guys as you've been going through this journey has been great. Yeah. And it's a great opportunity for you and Craig and Golf Links as a community to consistently go back to what is a top tier venue. And that will really help you attract people. So, I love it. I'd play golf 7 days a week if I could get away with it.
That's what I'm working towards. You see, now I've accidentally started a golf company. I almost feel like I have to, which is
that's the dream, right?
Jono, did you? Hopefully, I haven't got this wrong because my memory's like a sieve. My wife will tell you that. The Clutch Tour, the Pro-Am. Yes. You joined the team for that, didn't you? And Duncan was meant to be caddying for us, wasn't he?
I mean, I never let him forget this. So yeah, you very kindly. I think did we get Golf Links were invited by Stromberg, who are obviously a partner. You then invited me, probably because you couldn't find anybody else, and I lived reasonably close to where we were playing.
And he used a lot of banter on the course. That's why I invited you.
Yeah. So yeah, we played with Alfie Halil, didn't we? Oh, Alfie, Halil, great golfer, really kind of interesting story himself. Has been through some challenges health-wise, and then come back. And I know Duncan's been spending some time with him since. But yeah, Duncan was due to caddy for us, the two of us. He raced to get there from JCB because JCB was closed, I think. And then he obviously realised that in Alfie there was possibly like a long-term paying gig. So after saying hello to us on the first tee, we basically didn't see Duncan until the bar.
No, do you know what though? It was great because obviously I now have had a few opportunities. We've got a few pros in the group, played with Hannah at the Mia, Alfie at Belton Woods, wasn't it? Yeah. And we're both sport mad, and it's just I've got such an appreciation for people that are very, very good at what they do. Yeah. And I love it. I absorb it. Obviously, it doesn't all go in because I'm not. But it's a really good. If you play any sport with somebody that's better than you, and you've got that sort of mindset to watch, absorb what they say, how they do things, like the conscious, subconscious things. I love the whole psychology and high performance stuff, but it's great. Like, and again, even like, let's not give Duncan too much credit, but it was great to see that environment of caddy and golfer, because you don't always get the opportunity to do and see that. So he'll thank me later, hopefully. for that but it was good because even though he wasn't directly caddying for us, he was as well, wasn't he? It was kind of like
look,
you could hint those little hints and tips. I loved it.
I tend to I give Baggy a hard time, like all in jest and all out of nothing but love. But I can't say too many nice things about him, but I do give him a bit of ribbing, probably a bit too often for his own liking. But
So talking about like golf, golf and not golf links as such, but what has your golf story been? Obviously, you've got what's your current handicap and what's your journey through golf, and how much do you take it seriously? Are you really aiming for something? What's that been like? What's your golf story?
So I picked it up late. I was probably 14. I had a couple of friends from school who played down at Romley Golf Club, which is a really tough but nice venue in Stockport where I grew up. And then kind of picked it up and put it down a little bit throughout my kind of late teens. And as I say, I played a lot of semi-pro cricket. So, but a lot of cricketers play golf. So when we were young, single, we'd play cricket on a Saturday, and then between 4 and 16 of us would go out every Sunday and find a course around Surrey where I was living. And so started to pick it up, got down to, couldn't really break anywhere below 8 as a handicap. Then something clicked. A couple of years ago, I was down at, I think, 1.5, playing at Sherwood Forest, which is it's a pretty good handicap. That's a handicap that travels very well when you're, that low at Sherwood. But it's one of those sports that, unless you're playing a lot, and when you talk about Hannah and Alfie and people like that, the way that these guys and girls have to practice in order to maintain that level of play is unbelievable. So I'm now up at, my index is about, I think, 4.5. So I
didn't realise they did single figures.
On the
what is this myth?
No, behave yourself. You'll get there. So I'm kind of trending the wrong way at the minute, but I'm putting some work in. There's a guy called Andy Willey who is one of the best playing pros the PGA's got to offer. He's very local to me. Just missed out on seniors tour this year. He went out and did the qualifying in Turkey, but I do a fair bit of work with him. And my dream is to hit scratch. Now, even if it's for a week, I want my handicap index to be 0.0. And but I think from where I am to where I need to be, it's kind of really small things. And I'm just back from the 3 days at the Belfry conference. I got 27 holes in around the Brabazon over a couple of days, which was great. And why I couldn't be with you guys, unfortunately, on Tuesday. But then I've been doing a bit of work there in the evenings on my game with a pro that I've met there who's an ex-tour pro. So it's just finding those little things that will allow me to then start shaving those 0.1, off my handicap. The dream is scratch. Now, whether I ever make it, TBC, but we'll keep trying.
We'll promote within the Golf Links community when that happens. Like, notice I said when that happens, like positive language. Yeah. So it'll be, obviously you're not a PGA teaching pro. However, I do like asking people that are on that journey, because you'll have picked up so many hints and tips. And I'm going to ask you sort of twofold. Like, what's the thing that has helped you reduce the handicap when you were starting and when you've gone from like your 20s down to teens? And also, what's the thing that you're you alluded to the fact that it's time and hours and practice, but what's the current thing that you're looking at for that real top of the triangle single figures to scratch? So the two questions there: what's helped you on that kind of 20s into teens, and then what's the thing that's now kind of tweaking your interest to get it down even more?
So I think, look, consistent. I maybe because of cricket, I've always naturally been quite a decent ball striker. Okay. And I'm not someone who'll go and spend hours and hours at the range, or like I prefer to learn through playing rather than just going and hitting balls, because it doesn't look, there are obviously massive benefits to it, but for me, I don't have the attention span to just sit there, go through a pre-shot routine and hit 100 balls. If I go to the range, I'll hit 100 balls in 25 minutes, so some of the videos you see on Instagram, it's like you go and you hit, 3 80% pitching wedges and then 3 150%, 97 drivers, and just kind of, just see how far you can hit. And actually, that's not really offering you anything.
Yeah.
So I think from I probably had a bit of a cheat code through cricket. It came quite naturally to me, I guess. The ball striking element. But I think for people looking to go from that kind of high to mid handicap, that first journey that people are on, I'd say that consistency of practice, and also not trying to hit the back off it.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
even now, me, I my bad shots high and right, okay, but that is when I try and hit it too hard. I come in too steep, too spinny, probably catch it out of the toe, and off it goes right and further right. So
Yeah.
I really try and concentrate on just slowing myself down and relying on that natural timing that I've got through having played so much, decent level cricket. But I've just bought some new clubs, not PXG, sorry, partners. But I went I went to get fit for them, and I've got Project X 6.5 extra stiff shafts in my old set at 125 gram shaft. Sorry, that's really technical for some people, but what that means is, as I've got older, I'm now 43. They've actually now put me in a Dynamic Goal 115 stiff shaft, so it just allows me to be a bit freer, because as I'm getting slowing down a little bit swing speed wise, it still means I'm in a bit more control, and instantly that's made a difference.
Right.
I've made a grip change. My grip was too strong. I've just had to make a more neutral grip, which then has shifted my ball position probably an inch and a half. And I think once you get down to that kind of category 1 level and below, like they're the kind of fractional minute changes that will start to make
Yeah.
a massive difference. So
Do
you're
you know what
evolving.
I was just about to say? You just saying that, all that technical stuff, I was like, you've just answered my second question in regards to what makes a difference down to zero, because
Yeah.
you lost me then. I was a bit like, whoa, what's just happened?
Yeah, I mean,
But that's the detail, isn't it? High performance. It
yeah, I
makes
think
the small gains.
when I this Portuguese fella Pedro, he's at Fox Hills in Surrey, is his club, and he brilliant fella, and they had this indoor simulator with the nearest the pin thing, and I just ended up spending a bit of time with him. He was like, look, can I just suggest a couple of things? And whereas before I was hitting this kind of off the back foot trappy draw through the bag, desperate to try and shallow out my swing and have the ball position further up in my stance. Within 20 minutes, he's flattened out my swing plane. He's got the club path has completely changed. It's a lot more neutral. And when you've got, and I think the beauty of a brilliant teacher or a brilliant coach is invaluable.
Yeah.
And I think, look, if you go and you see someone for 2 or 3 lessons, I used to have lessons with a fellow who, even for me, was so technical I couldn't understand and translate what he was trying to get me to do into a way that worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you do go and have lessons with someone, but it doesn't quite fit you, don't be afraid to say, I'm really sorry, I'd like to try something else. Like every coach will have their own coaching style, and that's fine. But you ultimately, everybody's swing, whether you're Tiger Woods or anybody else, it's your swing is still a work in progress, right? And I'm sure
Yeah.
Hannah and Alfie would say the same. Everybody's always looking to try and get that little bit more consistent, a little bit more better.
Yeah.
And so if it takes you 8 different coaches until you land on the one that actually is perfect, then that's okay, because if that suits you best, that's great.
You've just teed me up for some other promotion of Golf Links, by the way. Thank you so much. So we've launched very recently the Golf Links Academy. So in the Golf Links Academy, anybody that we have in the social network for golf, which is Golf Links, who has any service or coaching ability, either in person or online or mindset coaching, they can currently go onto there and promote their services for free in the Golf Links Academy. Because as you know, we have a growing network of people that want to invest in their game, want to get better. And you've just said perfectly there that you might bounce between a couple of PGA pros or teaching pros before you find the right person. So that's great. You alluded to 2 of my focuses last year. My focus was to not hit the ball so hard. So I was trying to go for a number that was my 100% of a club. So I'm sort of really kind of going, well, actually, it's 100% of a 9. So I'll hit a 8, but not as hard. So that focus. So that was last year, and I've obviously still got that. This year, I listened to some somebody on a short or on socials somewhere saying about the percentage of the average golfer, the mid handicapper, who is always short. So we're always thinking we've got more distance than we have. So that's stuck in my mind for this year. So actually aim for the back, because if I'm aiming to get on the green, I'm typically thinking I can hit something that I actually can't. So those two things are in my mindset in regards to this year. So, but it's one of those games, isn't it? It's ever moving and evolving.
Greens in regulation, fairways in regulation. It sounds really basic, but like, you know, we're not all playing Augusta where you actually have to land it in like 2 square meters in order to access the flags. Like, you know, we're playing courses that it's not, and again, it's not how far, it's how many. It's not, again, that's a really widely used thing, but if you're trying to slam the back off the ball, you're just going to generate more spin. And if you've not hit it perfectly, if it's going right, it's going to go further right. And if it's going left, it's going to go further left.
Yeah.
You know, I'm certainly no coach, but you know, I've gotten down to a level where I hopefully know a little bit. But yeah, to find a good coach I'd say is really key. And you know, take your time doing it. You might end up going back. If you try 8, you might end up settling on the 4th one that you use.
Exactly.
Again, that's okay.
Exactly. So
opportunity.
We only have 5 minutes left.
Okay.
So I want to dig into what you do, your business, because it fascinates me. I love kind of like connecting back in with you, because when we met, you were definitely in the cricket industry, weren't you?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that, but obviously what you're doing now.
Okay, so flipping out 5 minutes. Right, okay. So yeah, I used to have my own cricket business. I was involved in that from 2010. But decided to make the decision to close that in 2024. We were a kind of small boutique style business. Did well, but to compete with the big boys was just becoming an impossibility, and import costs and the way in which the kind of industry handles itself and is moving, I just felt like I needed to get out. So what I'm about to launch, this is a bit of an exclusive, really. So in April, we will launch Collector Vault, which will aim to redefine the traditional auction industry globally. So what that is it's a memorabilia business, but it is only match worn, event used, you know, musician used on stage, rare one of one items. So no replicas, nothing that's just signed. These are all iconic items associated to a specific moment in time. We will be the first auction house in the world that completely eradicates buyer fees. So typically that would a buyer's premium or buyer's levy would be between 25 and 30% on top of what you pay it for the hammer price. We've eradicated that, which instantly makes us the most transparent and trustworthy auction house in the world. But it's mad really to think of the people that I have conversations with. I've got to go and have lunch with Bonehead from Oasis in a couple of weeks. I'm doing work with Ed Sheeran, you know, some of my founding icons. Sam Torrance is one of my founding icons. Some of the stuff he's got is just mind-boggling. So it's great for me. I get to work with sports people, musicians, entertainers, actors, artists. But the opportunity to redefine what is quite a stodgy industry through some pretty revolutionary means is really exciting. There's a big charitable donation, big charitable element to it. There's a mandatory 10% donation from every sale goes to grassroots sport or grassroots charity within that icon's chosen field. I'm adopted, and although having been very lucky, I've always had this nag of an understanding of what my life could have looked like had I have not been that fortunate. And I've always had a desire to give back to that. So all of the icons that we're working with get it. You know, they all love the idea of giving back. I've spent the last 3 days with a load of American clients. They're brilliant at philanthropy over there. We're getting better, but we're nowhere near as good as they are at it at the minute. So yeah, it's a really exciting journey. We're going to launch fractional ownership a little bit further down the line, which is really cool. I don't, you know, why does someone have to be a millionaire to engage in iconic pieces of memorabilia? I've never understood that. So you know, if you can be I don't know, a labourer on a building site at 16 years old, if you're the biggest fan of somebody whose items we've got, why, if you can afford to buy even one share in it, that then becomes an investment tool for you. So yeah, all FCA regulated, all built through blockchain, so super secure. But yeah, really exciting journey. So hopefully, yeah, when I'm there in April, people can ask me a bit more about it, or they can check it out through socials and stuff as and when we get launched.
Excellent. And again, I've every time we've caught up over the last like 6 months, it's been great to see that sort of come to fruition, if you like. And we are literally looking at a similar thing to support GolfLinks pros as well. That sort of syndicate style, sort of like a lot of our pros, and linking into, fingers crossed, into next year, the England golf team. Speaking to Ben at England Golf, who we had on episode 1 of the guests. Giving people the platform and the opportunity to be in front of the right people, and there's so many crossovers there. So we will be able to share across the GolfLinks community when you do your launch. And if you want to be connected with Jono, obviously you've got your GolfLinks profile. If people jump in, you can follow and connect with fellow GolfLinks members, a bit like the Facebook thing of friend requests and all that sort of thing. So Jono, we've come to the end. Thank you so much for your time today. Any last final words?
I don't understand how Duncan Bagshaw has made a career out of caddying when he can't read putts.
He's going to want to come back on and challenge that. We've already said that you might come back on.
Some angry WhatsApps or phone calls as soon as this goes out from Duncan, but no, bless him. No, look, I think look, it's a pleasure to be a part of what you and Craig have created. You know, long may it continue, long may it, grow and get bigger and bigger. Yeah, just a pleasure to be involved, and super happy to have been invited on this, albeit after Duncan and Joe.
I'll send my apologies. Joe, thank you so much. So if you've enjoyed that, make sure you follow us across our socials. Make sure you hit us up on the website. You can go and get your free profile, find out what we've all been talking about with these GolfLinks rounds. Obviously, if you can come up to Carden Park, that's a bonus on the 21st of April. And see you on the next episode. Thanks so much, Jono.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, Stu.
Take care. Bye.
See ya.